I used to think that a single lie couldn't possibly destroy a relationship. It takes years of growing apart, right? Or some huge dramatic scandal. That's what I believed. But I learned the hard way that sometimes all it takes is one lie to burn everything to the ground. My name is Lauren Hayes. I'm a 34-year-old ER nurse from Cleveland, Ohio, and for 5 years, I thought I had the kind of relationship people write songs about. My boyfriend, Marcus Reed, was what everyone called a keeper. He had a steady job, a dry, sarcastic humor that always made me laugh, and a loyalty I thought was unbreakable. We lived in this cozy brick townhouse near Lake Erie, and our life was comfortable, predictable. Our Sundays were a routine of grocery shopping, prepping meals for the week, and binging true crime shows on the couch. I loved that predictability. After a childhood filled with shouting and uncertainty, it felt safe. To me, Marcus wasn't just my partner, he was home. But that all changed on a cold October evening. I'd just finished a brutal 12-hour shift at the ER, and the moment I walked through our front door, something felt wrong. That frame had never fallen before. As I picked it up, Marcus's smile in the picture suddenly looked unfamiliar, almost forced. A knot of anxiety started to tighten in my stomach. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. All it said was, "You deserve to know. Ask Marcus about Denver." Denver. My heart started to race. Marcus had never mentioned Denver, not once in 5 years. When he finally walked in, he saw me standing there, phone in my hand, and his face went pale. He looked startled, tense. I didn't waste any time. I asked him, what happened in Denver? He immediately denied it, his voice trembling just enough to betray the lie. He tried to change the subject, to distract me with questions about my day, but the air in the room had already shifted. It was thick with unspoken words. Truth has a way of making its presence known, even in complete silence. I pretended to go upstairs for a shower, but instead of turning on the water, I opened his laptop. It was the first time I'd ever done that in our entire relationship. I felt a wave of guilt, but the feeling of being lied to was stronger. I typed Denver into his email search bar. Nothing. Then I started looking through his files and found a folder buried deep, labeled simply Archive. My hands were shaking as I clicked on it. Inside was a collection of flight confirmations, bank statements, and photos. The pictures showed Marcus in Denver, smiling, with a woman. They were close. Too close. The timestamps on the photos lined up perfectly. With weekends he'd told me he was in Toledo, visiting his sick mother. My blood ran cold as all the little pieces started clicking into place: the sudden work trips, his recent mood swings, the nights he came home smelling vaguely of hotel soap. It all made a horrible, gut-wrenching kind of sense. And then I saw it. In the background of one of the photos, there was a child. A little boy who looked disturbingly, undeniably like Marcus. The next morning, I confronted him. I laid my phone on the kitchen table, displaying the screenshots of everything I'd found. He didn't deny the woman, he didn't deny the trips, but he desperately denied that the child had anything to do with him. His denial was frantic, panicked. When I pushed him asking who the woman was, his carefully constructed walls finally crumbled. His voice dropped to a whisper. "She's my sister." I was stunned into silence. Marcus had always told me he was an only child. He confessed her name was Ariana, his half-sister from a father he never spoke of. She had tracked him down using a private investigator. His father's past was abusive and chaotic, and Marcus had spent his entire adult life running from it. He lied to me not out of infidelity, but out of a deep-seated fear of confronting that trauma, and fear of how I would see him if I knew the truth. But the real shock, the one that took the air from my lungs, came when he finally explained the child in the photo. The little boy wasn't Ariana's son. He was Marcus's own biological son, from a relationship years before he and I ever met. He never even knew he had a son until Ariana started digging into their family records and found him. The child had been abandoned by his mother and was in state custody. Marcus was ashamed, terrified, and felt completely unworthy. Secrets to Denver weren't romantic getaways. They were quiet, desperate attempts to connect with his son and start the process of gaining custody, all before he ever told me. He broke down sobbing, right there in our kitchen, saying he just wanted to fix it all before he brought this mess into my life, into our life. The truth wasn't about cheating. It was about pain, trauma, abandonment, and a fear so profound it made him hide the most important parts of himself. I wasn't angry about the child. I could never be angry about that. I was heartbroken that he thought I couldn't handle his truth, that he didn't trust me enough to face it with him. We tried to fix things. We went to therapy. We had countless late-night conversations, peeling back layers of hurt. But trust, once it's shattered like that, it never really goes back to its original shape. The cracks are always there. Our relationship didn't end with a big, explosive fight. It just quietly dissolved in the silence that grew between us. Marcus eventually did get custody of his son. I sometimes see photos of them on social media through mutual friends. He looks happy. He's learning to be the father he was once so terrified he couldn't be. Me. I learned the hardest lesson of all. Lies destroy relationships because they inherently evil. They destroy them because they completely rewrite the person you thought you knew. They turn your home into a house of strangers. If you're listening to this and something in your own life feels off, don't ignore that feeling. Trust your instincts. Ask the hard questions and be brave enough to face the answers, whatever they may be. The truth you avoid today might be the one that saves your heart tomorrow. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. It helps more stories like this find the people who need to hear them.